Hello there, Jose Rodriguez here. This is one of the most common questions I get asked almost weekly. People are getting a Pro 100. They realize they cannot afford those $15 cartridges, and there's 8 of them. Of course, you should have known that before you bought the Pro 100. Pro 100s can be obtained very low net cost here in the United States due to the amazing rebates that a lot of the companies provide, including Canon, of course. So ultimately, they want to then switch over to a third-party ink source. And of course, the premier third-party ink source for the Pro 100 at this time in the Western Hemisphere is precisioncolors.com from Canada. Now, in order for you to be able to utilize their cartridges, you have to do 2 things. You have to modify your original carts. Now, you could spend the money to buy pre-modified carts that have been flushed, but then you will have to ultimately switch the chip over from your original one that you do not want to tamper with because maybe you're a little bit worried about the modification process. You will have to transfer that chip over to your modified one. That involves a bit of manual dexterity to be able to do it correctly. Okay, and so again, remember, none of this is supposed to be possible or recommended that you do. And so Epson, Canon, whoever it is not going to provide you with a way to be able to do this very conveniently. So here's what happens with the Pro 100. A cart goes low or empty, hopefully not empty, but low. And you want to then replace it or modify it so that you can then refill it with Precision Colors inks or whatever other source you choose to use. You lift the lid, the print head moves over to the center change location. You see the little red light flashing. That's telling you that it's low. So you remove the cartridge, and now you're going to painstakingly try to carve away the label so you can get at the little ball. The little ball is located right here in this port right here. This is the original fill port for the cartridge, factory fill. There's a ball in there. You need to remove that. That little ball sits on a little receptacle with a bottom seat. You have to remove that ball. You have to drill out that seat so that you can then insert a plug. Process I cover on my videos. You take an X-Acto knife, you score around the ball. You can see exactly where the ball is because there is an indentation there. And then you remove the label. The label actually performs 95% of the sealing of that port. The ball performs very little sealing actually. So you're going to remove the little bit of label. You're going to insert, I have a little handle with a screw. You're going to insert the screw into that ball and you're going to pry it off. You're going to then drill it out with a 5/32 inch diameter drill bit. Make sure that it is straight. And at that point, you can insert a plug. Of course, at that point, you would also reset this before you do anything else. Reset this. Make sure that you put one of these caps back on it because when you refill it, it's going to pour ink all over the place. So you want to make sure that you seal the bottom and then you pour the ink in via a syringe or a bottle, squeezy type bottle with a little syringe needle tip on it. When it reaches the top, you have to let it permeate the sponge, top it off again, and plug it, and only then are you ready to put that back in the printer. Well, can you do that within about 5 minutes? Probably not. Probably not the first time. I barely can do it in 5 minutes. So what people are resorting to, and this is the actual subject of this video, is they are letting the printhead go to the middle and then they are pulling the power plug off the wall. So that now they have unlimited time to do this. Not a good idea, folks. The printhead, when it's not being used, it is sitting sealed on the capping station. That prevents it from drying. When you move that print head over to the center change position, you really only have minutes to do this. You should change all of your low cards with full ones within a couple of minutes and allow it to purge. That means it's going to reprime any spaces inside those nozzles that aspirated a little bit of air during that period of time that it sat there while you change cards. It will move over to the right, it will perform its purge cycle, and it will park itself over that parking pad, purge pad, parking station, whatever you want to call it. Many names, but a main purpose is to make sure that the nozzle plate is kept sealed. All right, so what happens when you unplug the plug? Now that head is sitting in the middle, unprotected, and you're taking your dear old time doing Lord knows how many cartridges, and half an hour may pass. Well, guess what? You have problems now. Not only that, minimally, by unplugging the wall plug, when it goes back, not only would it purge your inks, it will probably deplete about 1/3 of your inks because it's going to perform a massive cleaning cycle, which is triggered by unplugging it off the wall. So no, don't do that. Don't do that. Here's what you need to do. And this is going to cost you money, and you should have known this before you got into buying a Fro 100. The price just got to you, didn't it? It really sells for $400, but you probably got it for $100, $150. Sometimes even $50 net. So people often buy 1, 2, 3 of them that way. Take that second set of cartridges that you have in that second cheap printer you just bought and replace the original cartridges that you used for that first printer with those. You remove one, you insert one. Now that printer now is happily filled with cartridges. The print head is not being exposed for an hour in the middle of the change position, drying out, aspirating air. Now you have all the time in the world to take that one card that was low, modify it. Take your time, learn the process, do it carefully. Always, always modify and refill your Canon sponge cards when the low setting kicks in, meaning the liquid side of the cartridges is run dry. You expose the optical prism that triggers a change in the direction of the sensor light, and that triggers your low warning. Unlike this one that is totally dried up, your sponge will be fully saturated. Reset, attach one of these to it. Proceed with your modification. Take your time. Do it right. It's already reset, so now after you modify it, you top it off. Let that sponge resaturate itself if it needs to. If it does not need to, then the level will not drop on the liquid side. It will remain where it is. After a few minutes, plug it. Now, to test ink flow, you will remove the clip. Remove the clip. Hold it over a can or something that you don't mind getting dirty. Remove the plug. Now the system is open. You will get a drip, 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 drip of ink. Plug it back up. The dripping should stop. Okay? And then put the clip back on it, because now you're going to top off the level, because of course you wasted a few drops of ink. Bring it up to about this high, no higher than that, about this high. You do not want to get ink into the serpentine vent, so only about that high. All right, you can put a mark on it if you wish, and that is it. That can now sit until you need that again. The next time a card goes low, take one of your brand new cards from that other printer or ones you bought. You may have to buy a set of cards and replace it with it. Modify that card. At some point, you will have all 8 original cards modified and topped off. Now comes the fun part. As soon as you get a low cart on that other set that you have in your printer, take it all out, replace it with a complete set. From now on, you're going to do that. Now you have 8 carts that need to be modified. Spend a couple of days doing that if need be, and refill those. Now you have a complete set modified. You have a complete set in the printer. The next time a cart goes low, you remove that complete set. All of the others will be at different levels. Boom. Remember, every time you change one cart, single cart, you run a global purge cycle. That means you use ink from all of the other carts that you didn't even exchange. Yes, very wasteful, but necessary to keep that printhead primed. So why should you do that? It's very wasteful. You're going to get into a domino effect where you're constantly exchanging carts. And at first, until you get that 2 sets of carts modified and ready to be exchanged, yeah, you're going to have to do it one at a time, unless you really want to be wasteful and do a complete set unnecessarily. Use up that ink. Use that ink. But every time one goes low, remove it, replace it with a new one, modify that cart. Eventually, you'll have all 8 modified, and then replace that second set that's in there the next time one goes low, and modify that whole set of cartridges. Also, remember that the yellow cartridge has to be totally replaced with a modified and purged cart from Precision Colors, and you will have to exchange that chip from your original cart. Now, if you're brave, you can do the purging or the flushing yourself. I show you how to do that in one of my videos. Okay, that is it. Yeah, don't unplug the cord off the wall just to give yourself more time. It will create more trouble than you actually need or want, and it will waste a huge amount of ink when it reestablishes itself, because it will run the most massive cleaning cycle you have ever seen. Okay, you don't want to do that. Even with cheap cost refillable inks, you really don't want to do that. All right, that is it. Thank you once again. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And until the next time, happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.